What if I told you hosting the World Cup doesn't guarantee success? Football today is actually less attacking than it was 90 years ago. Brazil isn't just the most successful team, the gap is enormous, and one of the most exciting World Cups ever happened in our lifetime. Today, we are going to analyze 96 years of FIFA World Cup history using Python and real match data. No opinions, no fan bias, just data. By the end of this video, we will answer 7 fascinating questions about the greatest tournament in sports. Let's begin. For this project, I analyzed every FIFA World Cup from 1930 to 2022, hundreds of matches, thousands of goals, attendance records, champions, and runner-ups. Then I used Python, Pandas, and Matplotlib to uncover hidden patterns. Let's start with one of the biggest myths in football. Does hosting the World Cup actually help? Look at this chart. Out of all the World Cups, host nations have won like 5 times. Host nation did not win is 70. At first glance, this is surprising. Every time a country hosts the World Cup, they gain home crowd support, familiar stadiums, no travel fatigue, massive national motivation. Yet only 5 hosts managed to convert that into a win. That means nearly 80% of the host nation failed to win the tournament. What does this tell us? Hosting helps, but talent matters far more. The World Cup is simply too competitive to win based on home advantage alone. And that's our first lesson from the data. Home advantage exists, but greatness cannot be manufactured. If hosting isn't enough, then maybe scoring goals is. Let's see how football itself has changed over the time. And one more data point is that out of these 5 winners among the hosting nations, these are the 5 winners over the years who happened to be the host and ended up winning the title as well. Uruguay in 1930, Italy in 1934, England in 1966, Argentina in 1978, and our last time a host has ended up winning the World Cup was in 1998 by France. Now moving on to the next question. Has football become more attacking? This graph shocked me. Look at the early World Cups. In 1930, almost 4 goals per match. 1938, 4.67. 54, it is 5 goals per match. That is absolutely insane. Now compare that to modern football. Recent tournament averages round to 2.5 to 2.7 goals per match. Nearly half. So what happened? The answer is evolution. Teams became more organized, more tactical, better defensively, better physically. Modern football is smarter, but it is also more controlled. The data suggests that the football hasn't become more attacking, it's become more efficient, and that's why we see fewer goals today than in the early decades. Quick question. Would you rather watch 5-goal games every match or low-scoring tactical battles? Comment below. I'm curious where football fans stand on this. Now let's find out which World Cup delivered the most excitement. For the analysis, I created an excitement score. It combines goals scored, attendance, fan engagement, and here is what happened. 2022 and 2014 sit at the very top. That's fascinating. Many fans already consider 2022 one of the greatest World Cups ever. Think about what happened. Argentina's dramatic run, Messi's final World Cup, penalty shootouts, upsets everywhere, one of the greatest finals in history. The data agrees with the fans. 2022 wasn't just memorable, it was statistically one of the most exciting tournaments ever. What's interesting is that modern football may have fewer goals than the 1950s, yet tournaments today still generate enormous excitement. That tells us fans value drama just as much as goals. Speaking of greatness, let's settle a debate. Who is the greatest World Cup nation ever? Look at this. Brazil with 247 points, Argentina with 158, Italy with 156. The gap is huge. Brazil isn't just first, they are in a different league. Over nearly a century, consistency, longevity, and winning. Brazil dominates every category. What's even more impressive, multiple generations achieved this. Different coaches, different eras, different styles, yet the results stay the same. This is what true sporting dominance looks like. If someone asks who is the greatest World Cup nation, the data gives a very clear answer: Brazil. And it's not particularly close. But football isn't only about winning, it's about competition. Let's see whether matches have become closer over time. This graph measures average goal difference. Lower number means closer games. And look at the trend. The line generally moves downward over time. Modern tournaments have far smaller winning margins. Why? Because football has become global. Decades ago, a few nations dominated. Today, almost every team is tactically prepared. Even underdogs can challenge giants. Think about the recent examples: Morocco, Croatia, South Korea, Japan. The gap between nations is shrinking. This is fantastic news for fans. More competitive games mean more tension, more drama, more unpredictability. Before we continue, which underdog team surprised you the most in the World Cup history? Morocco, Croatia, South Korea? Let me know in the comments. Now let's talk about goals. Because some countries don't just win, they entertain. Which countries has scored the most goals? No surprises here. Brazil sits at the top again, 237 goals. Argentina follows, then France, then Italy. What makes this interesting is that scoring goals requires more than talent. It requires attacking philosophy across decades, across generations, across tactical revolutions. Brazil kept scoring. This helps explain why they are also the greatest World Cup nation, because championships come and go, but attacking excellence lasts. One thing that surprised me: France has quietly become one of the most productive World Cup teams ever, especially over the last 25 years. Finally, let's look at the ultimate measure of success: World Cup trophies. Who owns the World Cup history? Once again, no surprises here. Brazil with 5 titles, Italy with 4, Argentina with 3, Germany and France with 2. This chart represents football immortality. Every bar here represents decades of excellence. What's fascinating is how difficult it is to win repeatedly. Many great teams appear once, then disappear. The nations on this chart sustain success for generations. That is incredibly rare. And once again, Brazil stands alone. Let's recap what the data revealed. Hosting helps but rarely guarantees victory. Football was far more attacking in the early decades. 2022 was statistically one of the most exciting World Cups ever. Brazil is the greatest World Cup nations by points. Matches are becoming more competitive. Brazil is also the highest scoring nation, and Brazil owns more World Cup trophies than anyone else. What I love about projects like this is that data often challenges our assumptions. Sometimes the numbers confirm what fans believe. Sometimes they tell a completely different story. That's why data analysis is so powerful. If you enjoy this video, like the video, subscribe for more Python, SQL, data analytics and data engineering projects, and comment below who is the greatest World Cup player of all time: Messi, Maradona, Pele, Ronaldo. I will see you in the next one. Bye.